Visitors from the East. Matthew chapter 2, the Good News Translation. Jesus was born in the town of Bethlehem in Judea during the time when Herod was king. Soon afterward, some men who studied the stars came from the east to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the baby born to be the King of the Jews? We saw his star when it came up in the east, and we have come to worship him." When King Herod heard about this, he was very upset, and so was everyone else in Jerusalem. He called together all the chief priests and all the teachers of the law and asked them, "Where will the Messiah be born?" "In the town of Bethlehem in Judea," they answered, "for this is what the prophet wrote. Bethlehem in the land of Judah, you are by no means the least of the leading cities of Judah, for from you will come a leader who will guide my people Israel." So Herod called the visitors from the east to a secret meeting and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem with these instructions: "Go and make a careful search for the child, and when you find him, let me know, so that I too may go and worship him." And so they left, and on their way they saw the same star they had seen in the east. When they saw it, how happy they were! What joy was theirs! It went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. They went into the house, and when they saw the child with his mother Mary, they knelt down and worshipped him. They brought out their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and presented them to him. Then they returned to their country by another road, since God had warned them in a dream not to go back to Herod. The escape to Egypt. After they had left, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph and said, "Herod will be looking for the child in order to kill him. So get up, take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt, and stay there until I tell you to leave." Joseph got up, took the child and his mother, and left during the night for Egypt, where he stayed until Herod died. This was done to make come true what the Lord had said through the prophet, "I call my son out of Egypt." The killing of the children. When Herod realized that the visitors from the east had tricked him, he was furious. He gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its neighborhood who were 2 years old and younger. This was done in accordance with what he had learned from the visitors about the time when the star had appeared. In this way, what the prophet Jeremiah had said came true. "A sound is heard in Ramah, the sound of bitter weeping. Rachel is crying for her children. She refuses to be comforted, for they are dead." The return from Egypt. After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go back to the land of Israel, because those who tried to kill the child are dead." So Joseph got up, took the child and his mother, and went back to Israel. But when Joseph heard that Archelaus had succeeded his father Herod as king of Judea, he was afraid to go there. He was given more instructions in a dream. So he went to the province of Galilee, and made his home in a town named Nazareth. And so what the prophets had said came true: he will be called a Nazarene. That's the end of chapter 2 in the book of Matthew. I called him Matthew. The whole time I was thinking, don't mess up. uh, so, that's pretty good. So God can speak to you in dreams. I think that if you ever think that God is talking to you, just remember, he's not going to ask you to disobey him. Alright? If you ever interpret a dream that makes you think that you should break any of his 10 commandments, then you are interpreting it wrong. Right? Uh, it just doesn't make any sense for him to lay down the law and then ask people to break it. And the other day, somebody asked me about how God told the Israelites to go and kill uh, a tribe of beings. Lots of people think that they were human beings, but it says right there that the first guy that King David killed was a giant. Now, he didn't say that the rest of them were not giants. And, I don't know, but I've heard that a group of angels came down a long time ago. I think it was before the flood. And they had sex with humans and made hybrids, which are giants. And I guess those hybrids were breeding or something. And that makes more sense to me, that God asked his Israelites to kill giants than people. It makes way more sense. And Jesus clarified that people shouldn't be stoning women to death. Alright? Like, that probably came down as a misunderstanding from some people in the Jewish tribe. Like, don't commit adultery, but then you go ahead and break the do not kill commandment. What is that? Like the 7th commandment? The 6th commandment? I don't know. Okay. Worship the Lord your God. Him only shall you serve. Don't commit idolatry. Don't take God's name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Honor your mother and father. Don't kill. Oh, it's the 6th one. Don't commit adultery. Don't steal. Don't bear false witness against your neighbor. And don't want other people's stuff. And number 11 is love people how Jesus loved us, or loves us. So yeah, I think that the Jews were wrong, obviously, and Jesus confirmed it, to stone women, or anybody, I guess, who was caught in adultery. Just to clear things up, Jesus had to come down and set us straight, right? Hopefully we don't have any misunderstandings left that lead us to break God's very clear commandments, 11 commandments. Visitors from the east, they're called the wise men. And check it out, there were 3 of them. So, in the entire world at that time, only 3 people were wise enough to read the stars. I don't know how many people were alive at that time, but 3 of them were smart enough, 3, to go and worship Jesus where he was born. 3. So, when you hear about a guy like me seeing God and nobody else sees God, don't go back to your authority complex and say, well, the authority isn't telling us anything about this. Like, did the authorities in Jesus' time go out telling people, hey, we think that this guy's real, he's the real deal? No. But I guess they didn't have the world wrapped around their little finger like they do today. Like what's with people when I can show you God's face, like as much as you want, like all day long, like 1,000 times a day, with features like up his nose, his eyebrows and stuff like that, eyes, nose, mouth, and beard 1,000 times, But you guys are all waiting for CNN to break it, right? Like, do you think that'll ever happen? I don't know. I would be surprised if the news ever broke this. Like, I've contacted them big time. Like, hey, I can show you God's face. I can show you up God's nose like twice in like Coca-Cola and like 100 times in the Canadian $1 coin, and I can prove that God's face is omnipresent and that you're all ignorant about this, like beyond the shadow of a doubt. But you know, they, in their little minds, the authority can't reason how they're going to gain from this in this world. So, or something. I'm trying to make sense of what they're thinking of trying to block this from people. So, get over your authority complex. You can think by yourself, right? Science is something that you see and repeat. So, I don't think there's anything else that you can see and repeat more than Jesus Christ's omnipresent face. Right? Is there anything else? No. Is there anything else that's omnipresent? Raise your hand. I'm going to pretend like I'm the authority. Raise your hand if you know anything else that's omnipresent. So, you literally cannot be more scientific about this to confirm that Jesus Christ's face is everywhere. And I can tell you about what it's like looking at him, like rest. Right? Like, so many people complain, oh, I'm exhausted and all this stuff, and bored and all these negative things. But Jesus just gives me everything positive when I look at him. Like he said, he's like a father that takes out old things and new things to play with his children. I just learned a really good new one. But I'm not going to share that with you because it'd be like feeding steak to a baby. Right? I think like trying to show you like God's face is everywhere is like feeding steak to a baby, right? Like, you don't have teeth. You can't deal with it. Right? Jesus just gave me a really good new toy. New spiritual toy. But I'm not going to tell you about it. Because you ain't ready. You'll just be like, wee, and crying poo and pee all over the place. So let's go look at this. Escape to Egypt. Yeah, God speaks to you in dreams. But use the reason and the wisdom that God gave you. And understand that He's not going to ask you to disobey Himself. I think a lot of people think that. They think like, yeah, I know it's a commandment, but I think God wants me to disobey Him. That's just absurd. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's just a trick. You just trick yourself and then believe in your own lie, and then look at you. Just look at you. You know? Do you actually, do things that are beneficial for yourself, or you just do things that, are detrimental to your spiritual health and your physical health? Meanwhile, you do have the power and the means to escape all the damage that you do yourself. Just use your brain. Like, think about the actions that you do. Don't be a vampire. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, is this action, is what I'm doing good for me? And if it's not, is it good for anyone else? And don't try and reason that bad is good. That's just retarded. It's like, hey guys, I got some bad pizza. It's about 5 years old. It was in the garbage. Or I got some good pizza. What do you want? Alright, bad is not good. It never will be. What else? Killing of children. Okay. But you can see that revenge is for God. So Joseph wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to Egypt. I'm going to Egypt and I'm coming back. You know, Joseph probably knew God at least a little at that point, and he didn't plan any revenge against Herod, right? He could have done something like, I don't know, make a poison arrow or something like that and shoot it at him or whatever, but he didn't, and God took revenge, gave Joseph a little vacation, right? Yeah, somebody's gonna try and kill you, but I'm gonna send you to beautiful Egypt. Chilled out on the ocean for a while. Egypt is a beautiful place, right? Guys came and gave him gold and frankincense and myrrh. He's like loaded. Yeah, go on vacation, Joseph. So, yeah, working for God has a lot of perks. I can vouch for that. Um, so while Joseph went on vacation, God took care of Herod and those who wanted to kill Jesus, right? They're all dead. While Joseph is living it up on the beach in Egypt. Right? They probably had an awesome time there. Yeah. And yeah, I guess this passage is to get us to believe that God's got his plan for us. You can bet that Joseph was asking for some help, right? Like the Messiah, right? Like, I gotta take care of the Messiah. Look at these guys want to kill him. Oh no! And I'm sure he was asking for direction too. So, seek and you shall find. But you don't have to be like a tard about it. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Right? You can just be like all silent, like you know what I need, because otherwise that's insulting, right? Like, if you try and be right, like, you should be doing this and that, God, trying to tell God what he's supposed to do, then, you know, that's just going to make you look dumb. And you're disrespecting God. God's like, God here, like, I know everything, so you should try and at least pretend that you're respecting me about that. Respect his power and stuff. Because he doesn't listen to people who are like, you should be doing this and that. If you're real, then I would see this and that. You should act like Batman. And, jump in on guys that are doing bad stuff. And kill them right away. Nah. He's got way better plans for revenge than killing people right away. Like, yeah. They're gonna wish that they were never born in a lot of circumstances, as far as evildoers go. Killing them would be like getting off easy. So don't worry, God takes revenge on people. Revenge is for God. And let's see here. And you should get a real idea of who you are as a human being. Like, 3 human beings out of the entire population were smart enough to go and read the stars and worship Jesus. 3. Okay, you are a human being too. So, it's just realizing that you need Jesus Christ's help. That's what I want to get through to you here. I do. If I don't ask him for help, I do stupid things. And I did stupid things when I didn't ask him for help. And that God has his plan. And revenge is for God. I'd say those are the top 3 lessons that we should learn about this. Oh yeah, and we're human beings. Yeah. We need Jesus' help because we're like stupid. Like, you can't make a bigger sign, like, as God, like, You can't make a bigger sign for the whole world to see than putting it in the stars, right? But people are either ignorant or stupid, and either way, we need God's help to get out of this. Hope you enjoyed Matthew chapter 2. See you in Matthew chapter 3. So, because I have this really great gift of being able to see God, I guess I have a way better understanding of it than most people, because I've been able to see His face for 16 years. Since then, I've read the Bible a lot, experienced seeing His face a lot and everything, like in Ritz or in Pepsi. I just started putting lipstick on them because I figured you're at least smart enough to get that part right. Like, look how obvious his face is. To me, like when I look at a tree or the back of my hand or like anything, like any random object, I can see like his face. If you look for it too, you can see his face too, and that's actually the good news. If you read, I think it's John, it has some really weird grammar in it. Here, let me read it. It's right at the beginning of the Bible. Of the Gospel of John. It says, and I'm an English teacher, so, you know, I'd have to correct that if I heard somebody say something like this. It says, no one has ever seen God. But this book was written like pretty close to 2,000 years ago, so, like, and how does that even make sense? And then it goes on to say, but Jesus has made him manifest, right? Was it this one? John. Yeah, talks about how nobody had ever seen God. Yeah. But Jesus Christ has made it manifest. So, like, what are you talking about has? Because Jesus Christ is God, right? So, the whole Bible is about believing that Jesus Christ is God, and I can't put a finger on that part where it says, nobody has ever seen God, but Jesus Christ made him manifest. I'll have to pull that up on the internet real quick just so I can get a precise quote. Nobody has ever seen God, but... Okay, there we go. Yeah, John 1:18 says, nobody has ever seen God, but the one and only Son, who is himself God, and is in closest relationship with the Father, has made him known. So, to me that doesn't make any sense. It's like, nobody has ever seen a Snickers chocolate bar, but Mr. Smith, who is himself the owner of Snickers and relationship with the stockholders, has made it known. So then you get the idea that we're seeing him, right? Like, why does that sound like weird to just me? Anyways, you can tell that I obviously see God and everything because I show you. Alright? So I guess this is like my plea to the world, like, hey, half the world has died in the last 30 or 40 years if you haven't noticed. We need to change. I used to do a lot of bad things. You know, like the rest of the world, and I thought, well, everybody else is doing it. And I go to church and they say, do you believe in eternal life? I do. I just love that. I love going to church and even though I'm doing bad things, they say you're gonna live forever. So that's why they're so popular, I guess. And I come along, I'm like, hey, they're not telling you the whole story. You know, like, what more can I do than like put them on my clothes and make videos about them? So like, even if I'm not talking about him, if I'm just out, people can see him. I put his face on my car, my clothes, tell pretty much everybody, show kids all day long, left, right, and center. And it's so obvious that I'm right. So, and actually, I feel like I'm getting paid big time for this. That's why I don't quit. Like, do you not think that I notice that I'm the only one doing this? You know, like, and not just that, like, people hate me, dude. Like you have no idea how much people persecute me for this. Just total cowards, right? Like, they just wait till I'm not looking and just like, ring, 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 stab me in the back, call me fool and stuff like that. Blasphemer. But never to my face. No, no, no. They don't have the courage to do that. Because they know I'll just look at them like, like, why would you call me that? Like, you know, they know I'm right, but I don't know. People are just so messed up. So I'm gonna do a bunch of videos where I talk a bunch about the Bible. I'm gonna read the Bible and make comments on it like the way I see it, the way I see it, you know, the way I understand it. So hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully this will fill in the little space at the end of the video.